Vehicle maintenance keeps the wheels turning. Poor vehicle maintenance practices result in higher operational costs and increased risk of road incidents. International and local studies found a strong inverse relationship between the quality of vehicle maintenance practices and crashes related to vehicle defects, and these were mainly associated with brakes, tyres and lights. The National Roadworthiness Baseline Survey revealed the systems with the highest number of incidences for vehicles aged 10 years and over, and these were number 1, brakes, number 2, steering and suspension, number 3, lights and reflectors, and number 4, engine drivelines and exhaust. In the case of a crash, vehicle defects have been found to result in greater overall damage to the vehicle. To prevent crashes and reduce this severity, comprehensive and regular inspections are recommended. The results of a local study suggest drivers that don't follow periodic inspection guidelines are more likely to be involved in a crash caused by fatigue, alcohol, drug misuse, or speeding, among other high-risk behaviours as part of a possible pattern. The 2021 National Roadworthiness Survey revealed that 75% of inspected vehicles passed inspection. This is an increase from 2017, where only 55% of vehicles inspected for the NRBS passed. In Australia, the National Heavy Vehicle Regulator, NHVR, has developed the National Heavy Vehicle Inspection Manual to provide consistency across all states and territories in vehicle roadworthiness, compliance and inspections. Although qualifications for mechanics repairing or servicing vehicles are state-based, the NHVR offers the Maintenance Management Accreditation Guide, which explains how to get accredited in the National Heavy Vehicle Accreditation Scheme. A recent study concluded that operators whose trucks' systems are not well maintained are involved in a greater number of claims. For instance, a 29% increase in frequency and a 22% increase in the cost of claims.
Maintenance especially for heavy vehicles, for any vehicles, but for heavy vehicles means safety. You have to be safe on the road while driving, so you need to check every bit and part in the vehicle before jumping in the vehicle and driving it. Starting from tires, pressure, from nuts that being tightened on the wheels, from oil and water and lights and everything basically. Visually check and make sure that it's safe to drive before jumping inside the vehicle.
To do the job right, not to cut corners and use high quality parts instead of cheap parts, and to have qualified people doing the job. Do the job once and do it right. So I used to be a mechanic too. I used to be a diesel mechanic, so I know how maintenance sometimes gets done.
A truck is an asset for the company, basically. Asset for the company, you keep it maintained and well looked after. It will keep the business running instead of ignoring it, and then it gets worse and worse, and then first the cost of it will be a lot. Safety issues will be a matter. So it is effective to keep it maintained. Keeping the value of the truck or of the vehicle is important.
How does knowing you are driving a safe vehicle make you feel?
Confident. That I know what the truck can do and what the truck can't do if I'm in a situation where if it's going to be having an accident or avoiding that accident.
It is a matter of death and life when you're driving a big vehicle on the road, not only for the driver itself, but for all other users on the road.
Pre-start checks are an indicator of periodic inspection. It's your responsibility to notify your manager or mechanics as soon as possible if you notice something unusual. A chain of responsibility ensures that everyone who works with heavy vehicles is responsible for safety. Different vehicle components and parts require specific maintenance. Make sure that the manufacturer and industry guidelines are followed. Know the maintenance procedures the vehicle you're driving has undertaken. If the vehicle is not functioning properly, you and the public will be at risk. Vehicle maintenance is first and foremost about keeping all road users safe.
What are the benefits of proper maintenance do you see?
If the truck's up to standard, I know I can trust the truck, I can rely on it, and if I've got to brake hard, I know the truck's going to stop.
It's a peace of mind knowing that everything is right to go. It's better to know that if something happens, like your brakes are failing or your brakes are going to fail, you know before you leave the yard, rather than having to need them and they're not there.
There's a higher lesser percent of something happening, like an incident, if the maintenance isn't kept up to scratch. You know, you could be kicking a tyre and hear a noise, and it could be a broken spring. You know what I mean? And then you have to hit the brakes one day, and next thing your vehicle's off the road. Or as simple as mentioning it to your employer or your maintenance people to say, look, something's not right. Yeah, I guess that's the benefits, and showing pride in what you do as well. I'll always go back to that.
Our own duty to look after ourselves, but we also have to look after basically the public too. So you got to have a well-maintained vehicle to know that you can do the job properly. If it's not maintained, then you haven't got the peace of mind in knowing that if something happens, then I'd rather know that there's something wrong before I leave the yard, or it's to have it all right to go before I leave. That way I can do my job confidently and return the truck the same way.
Ensure that a pre-start checklist is prepared for each vehicle. The list should include roadworthiness checks and operational items. Maintain repair logbooks. Monitor any trends that you notice when performing the periodic maintenance or the everyday pre-start check. Vehicle maintenance helps you manage the vehicle as an asset. Long-term maintenance planning allows owners to make better and prolonged use of the vehicle. Maintenance practices are an indicator of the safety culture of your company. For drivers or operators, companies, and the whole industry, periodic inspections reflect a commitment to safety.